Hello there guys, how are you doing? My name is Michael. We're going to continue our little playthrough here of Dark Souls 2, and we're doing the DLC, Shulva, Sanctum City. This next area has a pretty cool idea behind it that I really enjoyed, and it made me feel like I was playing one of the other Souls games. It's got a really cool idea in this that I stumbled upon pretty early, and I like finding these things out for myself. If you'll notice, there is a phantom there. You know, just like all the phantoms we see running around all over the place. However, this is not a real player, of course, because a real player is not going to stand stock still over and over and over again for so much time, not moving. That is actually an enemy. It is part of one of the Shulva Knights. Maybe Shulva Sanctum Guardians, maybe? I'm not sure what they're called. Looks like he's carrying a very large falchion there, and he actually has two of them. He's dual-wielding, so, you know, he's obviously a soulless monster. That's just my little commentary about dual-wielding there. You'll notice down there was some sort of weird statue lying on a slab, some kind of sarcophagus. That functions in a very similar way to a phylactery for a lich. You can't actually kill these ghosts until you destroy the phylactery, because if we tried to attack them, we would get virtually no damage on them. It would take like 20 or 30 damage, even with a good weapon. Maybe you could eventually wear them down, but there's really no point to it. What you have to do is make them sort of come back alive out of ghost form by destroying that physical manifestation there, which mysteriously does not cause them to aggro, which is a little weird. And there's a second one, and I'm going to get that too. And fortunately, these guys aggro one at a time, so, you know. These guys will try a leap attack while dual wielding, which reminds me one hell of a lot of the guys in Shrine of Storms that had dual katanas and leap attack like that. I actually really like their helmets. They have this, you can actually get this later in the level. It's this weird conical looking helmet, and I really like that point to it because it reminds me of maybe Slavic or Central Asian type of helms. Let's just get this guy over here. Usually I'd give him a little wake me up with a spell, but since I ain't doing spells just yet, I heard you can parry these guys. You can backstab them, so you probably can parry them, but it just seems a little bit difficult. And you get a ton of cool stuff in this area here. Really, this whole section is just lots of cool stuff. There are some great arrows. If only we had a great bow. And I think I know what this is. Oh, yeah. One of the most iconic things in the Souls series. The Catarina Helm. It looks like this. Glorious, I know, isn't it? It looks like an onion. And this is a reference to Berserk. There was a knight that looked like this in one of the sections. And this belonged to one of the most famous and iconic characters in the Souls series, Sigmire of Catarina, who wore this rather ridiculous helmet and the even more ridiculous looking armor that goes along with it. I think there's also some cool stuff over here. I like the way this looks. It seems that the knights that were here died defending this area against the wicked onslaught of the Drakeblood Knights that seem to have been sent there by maybe Vendrick or one of the other surrounding kingdoms. There was a lot of brutality and warfare going on between the kingdoms. There was no thing where, like in Demon Souls, where I said this before, you know, they were a prosperous small kingdom of Boletaria, and all of the other kingdoms heard about it and decided to send heroes to fight against it. It just seems like a more warmer, more welcoming place in some ways. These guys are different than the ones that we've been fighting. You notice a green cloud around them. These guys will actually poison you just if you stand near them. And yes, even if you backstab them, which was a very cute little move that they made, even if you're just backstabbing these guys, that will continue to poison you through the backstab animation. You can parry these guys, by the way. But, staggering them? No way. See, I'm already getting a little poison there. There we go. I should mention that I don't believe you can actually get their armor. I think I mentioned that when I was last here. Alrighty. There's a trap on the floor somewhere near. There it is. There's the trap. Let's just... Alright, well I don't remember where the trap... There it is. That's gotta be it, right? Yeah, there it is. That's the trap. I was just doing that to avoid stepping on it while fighting these guys. You can actually get a few arrows away on this guy while they're sitting there, but doesn't matter. We're going to be running into in a few seconds the next enemy of this area, who is I forget the name of these guys, because they're, obviously they came out after the guide came out, so there's some sort of weird spell user that loves hexes, and they're actually pretty strong. Their hexes can hurt. They have a weird body shape that almost looks like a weird stereotype vision of a woman, maybe, and it's kind of dancing or moving weirdly. You can actually get the weird mask they have on their face that has sort of like wings on it. I did not notice this when I first came in here because, again, unobservant. Oh, you can see it, my loincloth. Oh my goodness. This up here, yeah. There are a couple of these in the next section. And it actually opens up this area to, I believe, some petrified dragon boners or twinklings, something like that. What do we got? Both. 5 twinkling, 3 petrified. That's great. This chest is trapped. Just be aware of that. That's the far more dangerous of the two traps. And I believe there's one guy with a lance. I forget there. If you came in through the other way, the area we initially were in, then I believe we would spawn more of these guys here. Like if we just ran down here, we can't run back. It's an obvious little trap here. And I think maybe some of the guys from up there will run down here, so it's very hard to get out. There's a guy up there with a bow and arrow. We're just gonna snipe him out though, because I mean, fuck their shit. I don't think we can even get up there. They're actually on a platform and we can't get up. The people that designed Shulva maybe we're not planning for functionality with this stuff. This looks a little weird. Step on this, I think 3 times maybe? Yeah, just one more time. This next area has a pretty unique sword in it, called the Puzzling Stone Sword. And it is puzzling, that is true. Jump over that, do not fall in, that's going to another area. And come down here where we have more of those switches. I'm glad I did figure out this one at the very least when I first came in here. Not that it's terribly difficult. There's also one way down here that's important for getting that sword. I believe we hit it. Anyway, there's a lance guy in here, along with a really cool trap, but it's a very obvious one, so, there's that. Oh, I thought I'd flatten that guy. Oh, no. In a way, it's kind of interesting that they have taken away... I don't think we can get that shield, either. It's just a reskin of another shield. In a way, that they designed a lot of this stuff in order to challenge the player by taking away his standard method of playing. For instance, in the Iron Crown DLC, there is an enemy that spews lava from its shoulders, so you can't really circle around it. And these guys are designed to make it really hard to backstab. I'm not exactly fond of that, because it doesn't seem to be making a challenging creature. It seems to be making something that is just there to be obnoxious. Now let's take a look at this. You can see that there is another one of the switches to my left, and a room that just screams, spikes, spikes, more spikes. Let's get this guy a-comin'. Timing this can be a little bit tricky, but I think we got him. Oh, Lord, yes we did. Yes, we did. And there's another one of those guys over there. And I believe that we can get him too. Can we? Let's just bring him over here. And... Spike trap! Ooh, I went too early! No, I went too early! This is obviously a place where you can have a lot of fun in... whoa! Not mean to do that. A lot of fun in PvP. I believe there's more upgrade material here. There might just be some stones stuff, which is not that interesting to me. But there might be some other good upgrade item. We also got a Titanite slab earlier, which is nice. Boltstone and Bleedstone. Boltstone's useful, Bleedstone's not. Say that 5 times fast. Oh, Twinkling, more Twinkling. I told you just get thrown rare upgrade material down in this section. I also forgot to mention earlier that you actually will get, now that we have defeated Velstad, Cloanne, the ore trader in Majula, will now trade us 3 pieces of Twinkling and 3 pieces of Petrified Dragon Boner. But they are pretty expensive. Puzzling Stone Sword. Let's take a look at this. There it is, the first one. This is a really cool deck space weapon, and it just looks cool. It's sort of like this light bleeding through it. It's got a fairly normal attack there on the R1, but if you take a look at the R2, yeah, I mean, it's a whip. That's really, really unexpected and kind of bizarre. It also has weirdly low stat requirements, a 7 and a 6. Sword of the Segmented Blade. When swung, its segments separate and the sword strikes in a whipping slash. Crafted with a rare magnetic stone of remarkable strength only found deep within caves of the gutter. This is the second time that a place that is clearly not the gutter as marked on the map is referred to as the gutter. So maybe just this entire area is kind of considered the gutter. To our right there's a bug guy, and we're going to try to kill him in one hit. Yes, we did. Not going to go down there just yet. This is a little more important. Our immediate top here, you can see, we'll take a look at the ground here, filled with spikes. It doesn't do that much damage walking on them. It's pretty slight, but obviously it will add up. Up there is the real thing we want to be worried about, one of those spellcasters. We are going to try to cheese him with range. If you don't have the range to do it, the ranged attack, you have to do it when you go up there, and it's kind of difficult because you could fall down into the spikes. And you can see right there, just in the corner there, I love that they allow you to do this, to use your wits and your senses to find things that are hidden around here. That is a ghostly, one of those ghostly warriors we just fought, although tricky, because that's the door we need to get into to find the smashable sarcophagi in order to make them whole. So we have to run past these guys to get out there, and that's where the tricks are. So let us make an attempt. We're going to run straight down here and hopefully not die. There's so many of these guys here, and they have knocked me off this ladder before. It just depends on if you get lucky. If he had hit me a second time, I would have gotten knocked off. No doubt about it. And there's another one of those spellcasters over here. Let's take him out quickly. I should note that if you take them out with melee, they will actually sort of explode in a bit of poison mist as they die. Like that sort of that will poison you if you stand near it as they die, I think. I try not to get too near them. Oh, damn it. That was not what I meant to do. There's another one of those ghost guys to our immediate right. Can you see him? Just barely. But more importantly, there is a switch that will activate a shortcut, which is nice. And the way to get rid of this guy to continue on to the next area is this way. Hey! 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 There he is. What in the aggro? Is he busy or something? Is he on his frickin' phone? Come on. And just lead him down here, and he's stuck down here now. And this is nice. There we go. A little risky there. Really relying on the enemies not to be too sharp, but still, that was... Had to get there quickly. This is likely warning us of a trap. Yes, it is. Let's see here. Ooh. Staggered again. You look kind of silly when you get staggered. It looks ridiculous. This actually leads right back up to the area that we were in when we came up here. See? So we can get back up this way. And just run down and make this a little bit easier. Love to open up those shortcuts. And this next room is full of those ghost guy, dual-wielding guys. And all of the sarcophagi we need to get. So we're going to need to take a couple out as we go, and then just move along. And you can also use range to do it. But these guys, we learn here, oh, my lord, this is a bad weapon for this. I'm just going to use, oh. Mistakes were made! I don't believe they have an aggro range farther than this little bridge up here. They've followed me down to about here, but that's about it. I don't know which ones we have brought together, but there is one at the very least who we will be taking out. There we go. Oh, and what did he drop? Oh, I forgot he drops his armor. I also forgot to mention that those guys down there, I think only when they are in physical form have a ranged attack. These guys have a very special version of a Velen, essentially, of a repeating crossbow that will fire 3 shots at a time. They also have a regular crossbow, both of which are infused with dark. Is this very useful? Not really. I haven't really found a use for it myself when I've been playing. Could have sworn I'd taken that guy out, but apparently he had one more hit left in him. And of course, you know, like every freaking enemy in Dark Souls, he has to take away a bit of your health every time you strike him. So, little baby has to have his bottle, I guess. This is a terrible, terrible weapon to be doing this with. My lord. Oh, darn it. Gotta take my gauntlets off. This is more the weapon we want to be going in here with. And, oh, open them up. Ooh, wait a minute. Maybe this guy can attack you at range, even as a ghost. That guy seems pretty content with us being here. In this room, we can get the key that we need to carry on. Uh-oh. That was not your sarcophagus, was it, sir? The key that we need to carry on that door that we went to that was right near the bridge. At the very beginning of this little temple or castle. I don't know how you want to describe this place. These guys have a tendency to fall off this, by the way, which is kind of funny. Since there's this weird little bridge in the middle. And doesn't this just scream that there should be something there? You know, something in the middle of all this, down there in the dark. There isn't. I wish there was. That would be so cool. Oh, and repair powder. That's very nice of you. And there's the key. Well, we did not get all of these. There's so many of these damn knights around here. And this is their helmet, which maybe I'll wear in another build, because I like the look of it. It looks kind of silly because it's so conical. What was that? Oh, anyway. Is there any more of these things? I don't think so. Let us head down and cheese at range, because we are Sir Fromage, Knight of Cheese. Where are you? Those guys, now that they're in physical form, can actually be harmed by the spikes. So that's a way to kind of trick them. I think you can... I think one of them... No, I guess not. So that's a way if you can kind of lure them out there while they're in ghost form, and then when you revivify them, or whatever you want to call it. We can actually turn the spikes off, too, but I didn't want to do that yet because I was hoping they may get hurt a bit. You can turn the spikes off by doing that. Boy, this is going to be unfortunate. Yikes. If I want to do this in a reasonable amount of time, I think the strong attack of the Sanctum repeating crossbow is some sort of dark energy that attacks out of it. Oh, he dropped something. Come back here. Come on. Oh, for heaven's sake. Come on. Fall off. There's a pit there. Fall off. Darn it. Surprised that worked. And there's a bonfire near here. I originally had no idea that this switch was right here. Hidden behind here. It's hidden very well. I had no idea that this bonfire was here originally. And I was looking on the map and it says there should be a bonfire here. Where is it? There's another bonfire. Where the heck is this thing? I had no idea where it was. We need to hit this switch to continue on with the DLC, because it unlocks something that works as a key for us called the Dragon's Stone that we need to raise a bridge later on. And if you don't have that, then you can't proceed. Even effigy, maybe some twinkling titanite? Yes, 3 pieces. We're going to be back here in a second just to show this fun little area. But what do we get as a drop? Ooh, the Sanctum Knight armor. I'm going to pop that on. I don't know exactly what that looks like. Oh, that actually looks pretty cool. I like that. But it doesn't mesh with my current outfit. I was surprised when I first ran this barbarian type build because the penal skirt here will actually give you quite a lot of defense. I think I have it at +5 and it's 102 defense. That's exceptional. And the Germ helm gives you 126 and it's only at +6. At +10 be pretty darn high. And let's just light this bonfire. Over here we can get a Sanctum crossbow, but not the repeating kind. Just the regular Sanctum crossbow. And let's see if it does. Yeah, I think you need dark stats in order to use this properly. Yeah, seems pretty normal. I guess it looks kind of neat. So, I mean, that's something, right? Well, let's go find that hidden little area over there, which has a very unique spell in it for us. I'm really happy that I figured this out on my own coming through here the first time. I was just grasping at straws. I didn't think this was going to work. How do you get in here? I spent a long time looking around, seeing if there was a switch I missed or something like that, and I was like, well, how the heck am I supposed to get in here? Well, this is how. You have to throw some sort of grenade-like weapon into there, and there is something on the other side, and it will turn. So that's pretty cool. I like that. However, this should have been in the entire game, not just in the freaking DLC. Holy water urns, by the way, used to be a really cool item that gave you a big advantage over hollows and skeletons. And you can actually get like a huge amount of them early on, I think from Targray in Hyde's Tower of Flame, maybe. But for some reason they nerfed it, I think. And it's like, well, why? You know, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I mean, they're not used against a whole lot of enemies, but they nerfed them. Now they're useless. And there is Denial. And Denial is a redo of where is it? Of a miracle from Demon Souls called Second Chance. And Second Chance allowed you to be essentially killed, you know, your HP brought to 0, but then Second Chance would activate and it would restore you to life at a smaller amount of health. And it could actually be very, very useful during, I think it was a miracle, not a sorcerer, yeah. And it could actually be very, very useful and make PvP very, very annoying. and it essentially allows you to do the same thing here. Although I haven't really used this yet in the game. Let's head back up here and go into that bug room. Now, your reward for going into this bug room is not terribly great. There's not a whole lot, and really you're just sort of risking a lot for very little, but let's take a look down here. This next room is just piled high with these despicable buggy wugs. And I think even if we take out a couple on the side here, there's still like, I don't know, 5 of them in there. 4 or 5 that you can't quite see. And we're doing this to get a ring, the Ring of Yor, or Yord, who is the sort of the great hero of this area during this story. And he was the man who plunged that spear into the chest of Sin, the dragon. We're going to pop down there with the cat ring and just try to immediately turn around and run from these guys and come back in a bit. There's nothing really of any use down in that section anyway, so don't worry about it. Can we get by? Yes, we can. Very nice. Ooh, I almost fell off there because I targeted. And Yorg's ring really excited me because it looked cool, like a really cool idea, but it ended up not being really valuable, unfortunately. You know, like a lot of things in DS2. Flynn's, oh, it's not Yor's ring. I forgot Yor's rings you get later. You get at the end boss fight room. Flynn's ring is lowering equipment load increases physical attack. So this sounds amazing. It sounds incredible that you could, you know, take off all your armor and run around nude, and you'd get an amazing amount of damage because of it. But it doesn't work that way. It's not about how much you have on you currently. It's about what your maximum equipment load can be. It's about, and you know, that is so stupid. You know, because, you know, you just have to keep your vitality as low as humanly possible and still carry around things. And it's not even a very good damage boost. So you're essentially entirely altering your character around this one ring. And instead of, you know, what you should do, which is, you know, be able to take off your... God, how many of them are there? What you should be able to do, which is to take off all of your armor and wear very little armor, but still get an attack bonus compared to your overly armored friend who's wandering around wearing Havel's armor. Well, these guys can actually spew clouds of that equipment degradation stuff. That seems like a very odd survival tactic, you know, that you can't really do much, but it almost seems like it was designed to thwart adventurers. But because this land was under attack by vicious, thieving knights, maybe that makes a little sense. God, these things just keep coming. Don't bother trying to fight them down there. That just makes no sense at all. Especially in the DLC. Sometimes they randomly increase the number of they seem to increase the number of creatures in the DLC. Blackweed Balm. I think that does the same thing as the other balm, but with dexterity, maybe? Yeah, dexterity, strength, intelligence, faith. Can't say I can find any use for these things to temporarily increase any of that. Especially the intelligence and faith. I mean, would you really want to boost that little bit of extra stuff out of what you're doing? Yeah, it's just nothing of use down here. Dung pies. I guess those are webs or some kind of nesting area up there. Okay. And I think I might be ending this area with revisiting an old friend of ours who has turned traitor and wants to destroy us. Let's go find, there's one more of those knights down there that we have to kill. I'm going to put the good old-fashioned Ring of Life Protection on. Before we go, that guy can actually be pretty easy to backstab because sometimes he just sort of goes into this little he starts pulling out his crossbow, and you can sort of swing around here and get him. That's the area that we're going to be trying to get down to fight the boss in eventually, I think. Is that the area? I thought so. But not just at the moment, because we're going to be invaded by none other than the man, the myth, Jester Thomas, who is even more powerful than he was before. And he is absolutely going to wreck us, I think. He also, by the way, is wearing the Jester armor, which, if you remember from another episode, prevents you from being backstabbed, which is not fun. You can just run past him to that area there, but it's not easy. There's also really no reward in killing Jester Thomas, other than, the sadness that comes with, loss for, this friend obviously going insane and trying to murder us. Tragically, Jester Thomas is not the hardest NPC phantom in the DLC. That belongs... Oh, casting warmth. Jester Thomas, come on. Thank the Lord. In the DLC, in the New Game Plus, oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, he is brutal. We're going to head out to this next area, and this next area is pretty neat looking. There's another bonfire right near here, and the enemies in this area are those things over there. And while watching the videos for a YouTuber called A German Spy, who you've probably heard of if you're watching me doing this playthrough of Dark Souls 2, he says there's, I think he said, and this is months now since I've seen it, that those things are supposed to be like rejected dragons. So I almost think they're kind of like could have been dragons, or things that could have been turning into dragons, or more like, I kind of got the impression they were like aborted dragon fetuses or something like that. Whoa! I did not think that thing could go over there. These guys are obviously very, very tough, and you should just run by them and activate the bonfire. I believe there is some petrified dragon bone in this area. Because it's covered in water, the electricity, I don't know exactly what that attack is. It's like electricity mixed with dark or something. It's kind of unique, I think. 3 pieces of petrified dragon bone. Very nice. They're also very, very, very strong physical attacks, obviously. Well, let's hopefully get this bonfire. And then... Oh, we could use it. Thank the Lord. Now, I wanted to mention a few things about these guys. They are very difficult to fight. They're pretty damn challenging. And I'm actually going to stay at the bonfire, actually, now that I think about it as I talk about this. They are very challenging. However, they can be very rewarding. Because these guys, I believe, can drop dragon scales. And we haven't actually gotten to this section of the game yet, but there is a covenant called the Dragon Covenant in the very last area of the game, the Dragon Shrine, that we can join. And the Dragon Covenant allows you to leave a unique invasion symbol that will have you duel with someone, and if you win, you get a dragon scale, and if you get enough dragon scales, you can get a certain amount of armor. So if you wanted to come here and find an easier way to get the dragon stuff, you may want to do this. I believe they may also drop petrified dragon bone. And I believe I did farm these guys once for that stuff, but the drop rate was not incredible. Soul of a Great Hero, that's pretty good. The drop rate was not incredible, and they're a very difficult fight. So, I don't know if it's all that useful, to be honest. And there's so many of them right next to one another. Dried root, not useful. Could die here. They also mysteriously can leap up into the air and just jump down on you. Oh boy. I know I mentioned this a long time ago in the very first episode, but doesn't this sort of look like the thing in Teddy Ruxpin? I know the ogres kind of have the face, but these guys have the kind of body, don't they? that sort of looks eyeless with a big mouth and two legs. Am I just obsessed with that Teddy Ruxpin cartoon from decades ago? Maybe, but please don't judge me. And here's where we need the dragon stone. This actually looks really cool when you do this. You'll take a look up there. The bridge actually pops up from there. That is really, really cool. I like that a lot. That seems well done. And let's continue on. I'm just going to go into the entrance of that area and call it an episode, but I just want to get up there. And we can do that. This really looks like it should be something, doesn't it? But it is not. It is nothing at all. I guess just those phosphorescent things that provide light. And down here we can find the Drakeblood Greatsword. And this is a really cool greatsword. It is very powerful, more powerful even than the Mirah Greatsword or the, what's it called, Drenglaic Greatsword. Not only does it have good scaling, A with dexterity, I don't know if that can go up. It has the 150 physical, but also 34 lightning and magic. So you're getting a hell of a lot of damage off of this thing. If it's fully upgraded and you have great dex. It has the same moveset as the Mirah Greatsword and the Drenglaic one. I think the same one. Yeah. So that's an upgrade to those two things. It's really, really cool. I believe we get a few. This is actually the way back up to the very start of the level, the first bonfire. So that's how you do a shortcut right in a Souls game. There's a human effigy. And in here, we're going to go up into the castle. Don't try to walk on the side there, by the way, on those steps, because you will die, as I did. But, for the moment, deep underground, I am still going to praise the sun, and I will see you guys next time.